evening and many thanks for joining us tonight. This is the 7th day of April, the year 2026. Indeed, it's a day that a lot has happened, from the lamentation from the motorist as the fuel shortage continued to hit most parts of the country. And away from that, the political scene is a hot one, with the latest unfolding the unveiling of DCP candidate in the upcoming Emurua Dekir by-election. That and many more in our subsequent bulletin tonight. But first thing first, our top stories tonight. Tonight, pain at the pump. Motorists in Embu town cry foul over sudden fuel shortages in various filling stations in Embu. Emurua Dekir political contest. The DCP unveils Vincent Kibet as its flag bearer in the upcoming Emurua Dekir by-election. Also tonight, no to zoning. ODM grassroots leaders in Mombasa County opposes zoning, warning it could spark internal division. Cars, brace for heavy downpour. Kenya Met Department issues weather alerts, warns of potential rainfall across several regions.
This is Kutv Primetime News with Auma Evans.
It's takeoff time and I'm glad to be a pilot tonight. My co-pilot is Joy Mtava. Remember, you can follow this broadcast on all of our social media platforms. We are coming to you live on YouTube at KUTV News Kenya. You can tweet us on X at KUTV_Kenya at Auma Evans, the hashtag to use State of the Nation. So tonight we begin with the latest. Motorists in Embu town have lamented the sudden fuel shortage in various filling stations across Embu town that has led to long queues. The frustrated motorists claim they have spent a lot of time queuing, waiting for the precious commodity, but to no avail. Some of the major filling stations remain closed for the better part of the afternoon, with frustrated motorists now urging the government to take strict measures to those planning to hoard and hike fuel prices.
Nimepanga laini ya kupata mafuta. Baada ya kuwa kazini imebidi nipange laini juu mafuta imeanza kuisha na hata date ya kuongeza mafuta haijafika. Sasa tunashindwa ni kufichwa ama shida ni nini? Sasa ni serikali iangalie hiyo mambo juu sasa mafuta saa hii kuanza kukosekana hata haijafika date ya kuongeza date 14. Tunashangaa kwa nini imeongezwa haraka, yani imeanza kufichwa haraka hivyo. Tungojea date 14 angalau tujue ni aje. Sasa leo ni date 7. Na mafuta hakuna, tumeanza kupanga laini. Baada tuwe kazi ni laini. Na hatujui kama tutafikiwa na hiyo mafuta.
Leo tumeumia, mimi ni msee wa delivery. Na mimi sijaingia mboka leo. Bana, serikali tunaomba mtuhakikishie mafuta iko. Ndio tunateseka. Hawa wasi hawana mboka, hawajadhokoma. Alafu wengine duthi ni za loan hawajalipa. Kwa hivyo tunateseka. Tunaomba tu mtuangalilie mafuta na pia bei ishuke ikuwe fiti. Tusiendelee kuteseka kama wananchi.
Nimesunguka nikitafuta mafuta, petroli zote, sasa hivi hakuna mafuta. ni moja hii tu iko na mafuta, ndio maana tumepiga laini hapa tukitafuta mafuta.
Now, away from pain at the pump, now let's focus on matters politics. Democracy for Citizens Party has unveiled Vincent Kibet as its candidate for the upcoming Emurua Dikir by-election, setting the stage for a politically charged contest in the South Rift constituency. Kibet will face off against United Democratic Alliance candidate, or if you prefer the acronym UDA, David Kipsang Keter, who won the UDA nomination for the Emurua Dikir parliamentary by-election after a closely contested exercise in the upcoming May 14th mini-polls. Democracy for Citizens Party has unveiled Vincent Kibet as its candidate for the upcoming Emurua Dikir by-election, setting the stage for politically charged contest between the ruling regime and the opposition.
Agenda yetu sasa. Vile Ngeno aliwacha Dikir na filata nyinyi mumeongea. Nilimwelezea Rigathi Gachagua, mimi ni mwanaume kamili na sitanunuliwa. Wacha niwahakikishie, sitanunuliwa wala sitachukua pesa ya chama cha UDA na kiongozi yeyote wa UDA.
Na ile mtu nasikia ameletwa pale na UDA ni mtu ya Yesa. Si ndio? Si mko na matatizo? Sasa huyu hawasaidia nini? Huyu Kasongo ameunga yeye mkono kutoka 2013. Mkamwangusha. Akasimama 2017 na 2022 na 2027.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has thrown his weight behind Rotich, describing him as a youthful and ambitious leader capable of advancing the interest of the constituency and the legacy of the late Emurua Dikir Member of Parliament Johana Ngeno.
Mimi nataka nimwambie watu ya Emurua Dikir, muko na nafasi ya kusaidia jamii ya Kipsigis. Vile wabunge wenu wote wamenunuliwa, Mungu ametoa nafasi. Emurua Dikir, mchague one member of parliament, atetee jamii yote ya Kipsigis.
The endorsement of Vincent Kibet follows consultation with local leaders and residents, whom Gachagua commended for what he termed as their resilience and unity in rallying behind a single candidate ahead of the by-election.
Hapo mbeleni mulitishwa na Ruto msichague Ngeno, mkamchagua. Hata saa hii mchague kiongozi wa DCP ambaye atakuwa mtetezi ya watu ya Emurua Dikir, the Kipsigis community, the whole Kalenjin nation and the Republic of Kenya.
The 37-year-old former chief will face off against United Democratic Alliance candidate David Kipsang Keter, whom won the UDA nomination for the Emurua Dikir parliamentary by-election after a closely contested exercise in the upcoming May 14th mini-polls. The seat felt vacant following the untimely demise of Johana Ngeno, who perished following a helicopter crash in Mosop on February 28th. Right, now switching gears, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has stated that the speeding, poorly maintained vehicles and lack of regular servicing are the key factor behind the high number of road accidents witnessed across the country. Kindiki says the government has installed CCTV cameras on highways across the country to automatically issue fines to offenders, with non-payment leading to vehicles being impounded and immediate penalties for drivers.
A solemn interdenominational requiem mass was held for 7 victims of a tragic road accident along the Nyeri-Nyahururu highway, where families and community members gathered to mourn and remember the victims in a dignified ceremony. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki attended the service, extending condolence to the bereaved families, urging drivers to prioritize road safety, observe traffic precautions, and reflect on the responsibility to protect their own families, their passengers, and other road users.
Serikali ingetaka kuimarisha usalama barabarani, kwa sababu tumepoteza watu wengi kwa ajali, na although hatujui Nini ilitokea?
Kindiki noted that speeding, poorly maintained vehicles and lack of regular servicing are key factors behind the high number of road accidents. And to address this, speed cameras have been installed on highways across the country to automatically issue fines to offenders, with non-payment leading to vehicle impoundment and immediate penalties for drivers.
Kuna shida ya spidi, kuna shida ya magari ambayo ni mabofu, mengine ambayo hayajafanyiwa service. Na ndiposa tumesema ya kwamba we have introduced speed cameras in our highways. Last month we rolled out a program of placing speed cameras on all the highways.
Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga thanked the Deputy President as well as national and county government officials for attending and supporting the families. He confirmed that counseling and dignified support have been arranged for the bereaved.
Ingawaje janga hili lilitupata, mambo yangekuwa mabaya zaidi kama wafuatao hawangepatikana. Kuna team ambayo inaitwa Fire and Rescue Team ya County Government of Nyeri. Gari nyekundu ambao mliona ndio walifika pale, ikawa polisi pia walifika, ikawa kuna Red Cross na St. John mnawaona hapa.
The governor also highlighted that 6 people survived the crash, including one boy who has already been discharged from the hospital. He called on the government to implement preventive measures to reduce road accidents nationwide, emphasizing the need for safer roads and responsible driving practices to prevent further tragedies.
Ningetaka nijulishe kila mmoja kwamba tulipata majeruhi 6 ambao tuliwapeleka hospitali. Mwanzo hospitali yetu ya rufaa ile ambao ni county referral. Baada ya pale kuna kijana mmoja wa miaka 8 alipelekwa Tomotomo ambaye ametibiwa na kuruhusiwa kwenda nyumbani.
Leaders urged stronger road safety measures while assuring continued support for grieving families after the Nyeri tragedy.
Now, political tensions continue to rise within the Orange Democratic Movement Party after Suba North Member of Parliament Millie Odhiambo sharply criticized some of party leaders over alleged plans to divide leadership position ahead of the 2027 general elections. Odhiambo warned her colleagues, including party leader Oburu Odinga and Gladys Wanga, to stop what she termed as self-serving politics through zoning arrangement. Emphasizing the importance of democracy within the party, Odhiambo stated that no one holds authority equal to that of the former party leader Raila Odinga, and urged leaders to listen to the voice of the people instead of prioritizing personal interests.
ODM has always managed to successfully front candidates without any formal form of zoning. Perhaps there may be silent agreements in urban areas like Nairobi, but there has never been a need for zoning for ODM. And let us also be honest, none of us is Raila Amolo Odinga. And because none of us is Raila Amolo Odinga, we need to listen to the public. And the public is keen that we show what we have done to the public. When we start pushing an agenda strongly of zoning, it means that we are actually putting our personal interests ahead of that of our constituents.
All right, still on divided Orange, tension is rising within the Orange Democratic Movement Party after grassroots leaders in Mombasa County accused top officials of pushing for controversial zoning plan, warning that it could spark internal division, erode democratic nomination, and trigger backlash from supporters and allow leaders to handpick candidates in key strongholds ahead of the 2027 general elections.
As the 2027 general election approaches, concerns are mounting within the Orange Democratic Movement (ODM), with members in Mombasa County warning a proposed zoning formula could weaken internal democracy, sideline grassroots voices, and allow leaders to handpick candidates in key strongholds. Their leader youth in Mombasa criticized the proposed zoning plan within the Orange Democratic Movement, warning it could undermine internal democracy, limit voter choices, and erode grassroots participation, insisting the party should embrace competition rather than impose candidates ahead of 2027 elections.
It has come to our position that there are some people who have been said that they have automatic ODM tickets, but in real sense they didn't work for the people. Let those people who work get second term. Those who didn't work to go home. Personally, I want to say that we are against, as members of ODM, with the strongest term possible. You will kill the autonomy of the voters. The voters are the strongest people to make a decision. Why come with this zoning thing? Why do we fear other parties? ODM must be strong, and I want to condemn physically.
Women leaders have cautioned that attempts to introduce zoning within the party risk undermining internal democracy, urging the party to trust voters' political maturity and ensure open nominations, noting that citizens are politically aware and capable of making independent choices at the ballot ahead of 2027 elections.
There is only one conversation we expect from the ODM leadership today. The conversation is how ODM will ensure that party nominations are transparent, free and fair. The nomination to the county assemblies, the National Assembly and the Senate will equally be free, fair and transparent. Finally, we remind the people of Nyanza that our region has produced the strongest politician in this country, as known in the name of the late Raila Amolo Odinga.
The members warned that the proposed zoning arrangement could reshape internal party dynamics, potentially limiting contestation, sidelining emerging leaders, and undermining grassroots influence, with calls growing for fully open and transparent nominations ahead of the 2027 general elections.
Mimi ningeomba kama mkazi wa Mombasa, tukae kwa pamoja sote tukubaliane hakuna zoning, kwa sababu hao ambao wanakaa kando na kupanga mambo ya zoning chenye wanaogopa ni kitu gani? Kama unajijua umefanya kazi, kwa nini unaitisha zoning?
What ODM is pushing for and what Rigathi Gachagua is pushing for in central Kenya? What stage did ODM and its leaders begin reading from the same script with about creation of exclusive political and ethnic enclaves, balkanization of the country, of fear of competition?
They urge reforms that safeguard fair competition, warning that imposed structures could deepen divisions and weaken the party's electoral strength ahead of 2027. Edna Nerea, Kutv, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, a deepening leadership wrangles has rocked the Dock Workers Union of Kenya, with the rival faction accusing each other of an attempted takeover. The leadership wrangles that has rocked the Docker Union began shortly after Suleiman Owuor was declared Secretary General before Election Day in disputed meeting held in Mombasa, as Ateng Kanegunda now reports.
For the union make us strong.
Tension has risen at the Dock Workers Union of Kenya, where rival factions are accusing each other of an attempted takeover following the disrupted declaration of Suleiman Owuor as Secretary General during a meeting in Mombasa. The situation worsened after Owuor, who was recently reinstated by the Employment and Labor Relations Court, led a faction that removed Simon Sang and unveiled a new leadership team, with his supporters saying the changes were lawful and backed by members present at the meeting.
Endapo hatutasimama wima, hatutasimama kidete, pale bandarini kutakuwa ni mahali pa vurumai. Na vurumai ile ikiendelea haitakuwa nzuri, kwa sababu inaweza leta pia economic sabotage. Na mimi sipendi kusema kwamba tunyamaze tu kama viongozi. Ninasema kauli hii kupeana vyombo vya usalama wachukulie umuhimu kile kiwanda, wasikubalie mtu mmoja akawa analeta haya ama analeta yale.
However, a rival group linked to Sang has opposed the process, describing it as unconstitutional and arguing that proper notice as required by the union's rule was not issued. The faction maintains that elections are scheduled for June 25th and has rejected any leadership changes before then.
Sisi kama Dock Workers Union tuna sheria zetu, tuna katiba yetu, na tulitangaza kama board, tulikaa tukaamua kwamba uchaguzi utakuwa tarehe 25 mwezi wa 6 mwaka huu, ambao huo ni mkutano wa tarehe 26 mwezi wa 2 tulipotangaza. Kwa hivyo yeyote anayesema ya kwamba amechaguliwa, hatuambie amechaguliwa katika uchaguzi upi, kwa sababu tunajua iliyokuwako juzi ilikuwa ni kangaroo meeting ambayo haiko katika katiba yetu.
Officials have also written to the Registrar of Trade Unions and the Kenya Ports Authority, urging them not to recognize the new office bearers. At the same time, concerns have been raised over alleged financial misconduct, including claims of unauthorized withdrawals from union accounts, further escalating the dispute.
Special conference inatakana ianzie kwa board, ikitoka kwa board tunapeana notice ya 14 days. After that ndio tunapanga special conference. But special conference hii wanayoisema sijui ilitoka wapi. Sijui ilitoka mbinguni wala ilitoka wapi.
Same day mabadiliko yashafanywa mpaka kwa signatories katika Dock Workers accounts, washabadilishwa mpaka watu washaenda kutoa pesa, ambapo huu ni ufujaji kulingana na katiba yetu ambayo imetuweka hapa. Tulichaguliwa kwa mujibu wa katiba.
The union now looks forward to electing new leaders in the upcoming June 25th polls, amid hopes that the process will restore order, legitimacy, and unity within the Dock Workers Union of Kenya. Atenka Negunda, KUTV.
At the same time, the newly elected leaders of the Kenya International Freight and Warehousing Association Mombasa branch have urged members to embrace reconciliations after a disputed and chaotic March polls that saw Leonard Njiru takes over as chairperson. The team says it is now focused on stabilizing the association and strengthening cooperation in Kenya's freight and warehousing industry.
The Kenya International Freight and Warehousing Association Mombasa branch leadership has appealed for calm and cooperation after a turbulent election, stressing the need to move forward. The officials say they will prioritize unity, industry reforms, and improved service delivery in the freight sector. The newly elected chairperson, Leonard Njiru, said the election process was valid despite disruptions, noting that preventing the announcement of results does not stop a winner from being duly declared. He also urged opponents to avoid propaganda and focus on unity while addressing industry challenges.
We want to advise our colleagues that we were competing with, our worthy competitors, to desist from unnecessary propaganda and unnecessary, confusion and disinformation, as though we didn't have the election. We had an election conclusive, save for the violence that they initiated, and it is up to them to resolve that with the relevant authorities.
The members were urged to accept the election results and work together with the new leadership to strengthen the association. They were advised to embrace unity, avoid post-election disputes, and focus on collective progress within the freight and logistics industry.
I call on the PGAs and other stakeholders whom we'll be working together with. Kindly note that Kifwa Mombasa has a valid elected team on board, and equally they have the strength, they have the expertise in the industry, and I really pray that we are going to work together as a team for the betterment of our industry, not only our industry, but our country at large.
The branch secretary encouraged members to accept the final outcome of the elections and channel their energy towards rebuilding unity within the association. They were also reminded to remain composed, uphold democratic process, and support efforts aimed at improving efficiency in the logistics and freight industry.
Now has what is called strategic plan, and when we are given 3 years, it gives us opportunity to have in place a corporate governance style where programs and structures are put in place and the projects are actualized. Actually, 1 year was not possible. Even the predecessor was a very good person, but he was not able to realize everything within 1 year.
The new leadership urged calm unity and commitment to reforms aimed at strengthening the sector. Edna Nerea, Kutv, Nairobi.
Now that story by Edna Nerea takes us to our first break here on the State of the Nation. Remember, we still have much more lined up for you after the break.
Msana lugha. Lugha ni zaidi ya maneno. Ndio maana sisi Waswahili kila siku tunaitumia kazini, mitaani, kwenye mapenzi na katika jamii. Jiunge nami Padironga kila Jumapili katika Mawimbi ya Lugha, tukichambua Kiswahili kwa undani, maana yake, mabadiliko yake na nafasi yake katika maisha yetu. Kutoka utambulisho, mapenzi hadi mustakabali wa lugha yetu. Mawimbi ya Lugha kila Jumapili, usikose saa 2.
Wanasema kula uhondo kwa taka matendo, na bila shaka matendo yake yakazaa uhondo. Bidii na panda shuka zake zikamfanya awe mwanga wa dunia.
Pauline Care ni mwalimu wa walimu. Nilijua nilikuwa ninataka kufanya kwa mochari.
Nilijitolea kimasomaso, nikasema manake nimeenda shule kama wenzangu wa kiume, nitafanya kazi kadri na uwezo wangu.
Inafika mahali ile game yenye umesema hiyo ndio naenda ku give up na uachane na boxing, ndio unapata WBC.
Fahamu mwanamke huyu kwa utendeti zaidi ukitazama kipindi cha Mwanamke Mwake Mwake. Jumatano saa 2:30 usiku, ukiwa nami Caroline Kimwele.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Welcome back and thank you for keeping it State of the Nation. Now let's continue. Former Bunge la Mwananchi leader Francis Awino was attacked by a group of armed individuals allegedly sent by Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi. The attack followed a press statement he made at Milimani in Nairobi, where he called on leaders implicated in the country's fuel scandal to resign immediately. Some youths have vowed to hold a peaceful demonstration on Thursday to demand Wandayi's resignation.
given 48 hours ultimatum. On Thursday, either they like it or not, lazima tuende kwa barabara na lazima tulilie malidi ya wananchi wa kawaida. We won't stop it until Opio and I atoke kwa ofisi.
Everybody has a right of expression, even if they are talking about to God. Even in God, you can tell God what you're angry about. If all of us can tell God that we're not happy with Him, who is a human being who can't be told? So the right of the Constitution is protected. The right of expression is protected by the Constitution. The right of association. So let those rights be upheld.
We have all seen whatever is happening, and during the long holiday, tuliona ma MDs wakiresign, wakisema wataki kazi na wakisukumwa na integrity chapter 6 ya ile kazi yenye walipatiwa na wananchi, after kufail wakaona wa resign. Leo tulikuwa tumeita press pale Chester House 4th floor. Opio and I, badala ya kuresign, ameamua kuweka koti yake chini na kutuma guns.
Now to matters weather. Now the Kenya Meteorological Department has announced that the rainfall will persist across several regions from April 7th to 13th, with showers, thunderstorm and sunny intervals expected. Rift Valley, coast and northeastern areas will be most affected, as western and Rift Valley regions will see afternoon and night rains, while Nairobi and nearby counties will experience cloudy mornings and later showers. Lowlands will remain hot, while high altitude areas record colder nights. At the same time, Embu County government, in partnership with the Nutrition International, has launched a food and nutrition security policy to tackle child malnutrition and stunting growth in the area. And as KUTV's Joy Gaki details in the following report, the initiative aims to improve diets through community training, better food distribution, and strengthen health systems targeting vulnerable families locally.
The Embu County government, together with Nutrition International, has introduced a new food and nutrition policy in Embu County aimed at reducing child malnutrition. The program focuses on improving eating habits through community education, better food access, and strengthened health systems to support vulnerable households. According to the Kenya Demographic Health Survey, about 20% of children in Kenya suffer from malnutrition, when in Embu County, nearly 19.9% experience stunted growth, slightly above the national average of 18%, highlighting a concerning nutrition gap.
Kulingana na statistics, tumeona tuko na stunting ya 19.9%, na pia tuko na watoto wale ambaye wako malnourished, underweight, na kuna obesity pia.
Nutrition International Country Director Martha Nyagaya said that despite Embu being food secure, 1 in 5 children is malnourished, mainly due to poor dietary choices and lack of knowledge on proper nutrition, emphasizing the need for community education and better feeding practices. The reason
why we're launching this policy document in Embu County is that Embu is one of the counties that is food secure but has malnutrition. 1 in every 5 children in Embu County is malnourished, and there are many drivers of malnutrition in Embu County.
Embu Deputy Governor Kinyomogo said the policy will unite key sectors like health, agriculture and education to fight malnutrition, adding that initiatives such as the Embu Uji program will help provide nutritious meals to young learners and improve children's health outcomes.
Kupitia hiyo policy ambayo tumepitisha leo, tutakuwa na mpango ambao imeleta idara zote pamoja zote pamoja, kwa sababu hii si kazi ya mtu mmoja, ya kwenda kwa mashinani tuweze kuelimisha watu wetu, na ndio pia wao wanajua vile wanaweza kupia kulima chakula ambayo inatawasaidia na hizo minerals ama hizo vitamins.
The county government and partners launched a nutrition policy to address child malnutrition driven by poor diets, emphasizing coordinated sector efforts and school feeding programs to improve children's health outcomes. Murugiga Ki, KUTV.
Now, the National Traditional Health Practitioners Association's leaders have raised the alarm over government interference that has hindered the integration of traditional medicine into mainstream healthcare despite constitutional backing. Citing World Health Organization guideline, the association is pushing for a unified regulatory board and legislative support. This story was produced by our very own Phyllis Wanja. Listen.
Dr. Paulo Kibo, National Traditional Health Practitioners Association chairperson, is spearheading reforms to elevate traditional medicine within Kenya's health sector. He argues that government interference and legislative delays are stifling a sector already enshrined within the constitution.
Serikali yetu sasa hivi vile WHO walituambia kwamba tukue na bodi moja ya Kenya. Sasa tutakuwaje na bodi moja ya Kenya ikiwa tuna register culture? Ministry of Health wanataka kupima dawa, hawataki mtu yeyote anaye practice hiyo dawa. Kwa hivyo tukuje kitu kimoja ndio tutengeneza ile bodi inayotakiwa na WHO.
Dr. Kibo is calling for the urgent fast-tracking of the Traditional Medicines Bill, currently set for public participation, to establish a formal regulatory board and policy. He maintains that this legislation is the only definitive way to unite practitioners and enhance growth.
Iambiwa tunatakiwa kuwa na regional board. Regional board ni katika Afrika Mashariki, na zile nchi zote zilitajwa kama Kenya, Tanzania, Somalia, ile Burundi, Malawi, DRC Congo, Uganda, hizi zote zikuje pamoja, hata Sudan. Hata wa Sudani walisema wanataka sana hiyo dawa.
With 80% of African population seeking herbal remedies, the association argues that the current legislative challenges are a disservice to public health. The association issued a rallying cry for the integration of traditional and conventional medicine under one government ministry, a move that will unite practitioners and sanitize the industry from dangerous quacks.
Serikali ya Kenya imetambua traditional medicine kwa katiba yetu. Lakini now the problem is we don't have a board ambayo ina license traditional medicine practitioners. There is a law ya health bill ambayo part 13 part 10 ina recognize traditional medicine, lakini that bill has not been put in place.
The National Traditional Health Practitioners Association, NATHEPA, is now urging for legal recognition, a move that will evict imposters and elevate ancestral wisdom to a professional global standard.
Take a look at motorsports. India women national team has arrived in the country ahead of the FIFA Women's Series tournament that is set to kick off on Saturday at the Nyayo National Stadium. Harambee Starlets will face off Malawi, India and Australia. The Beldino Demba-led charge are upbeat over positive results in their inaugural FIFA Series tournament, which will serve as part of their preparation for the postponed Africa Women Cup of Nations that will be staged later on July 2026. Now, record UEFA Champions League giant Real Madrid will take on Bayern Munich in the first leg of mouth-watering Champions League quarterfinals at the Bernabeu Stadium. The Alvaro Arriola-led charge dish out a compressive 5-1 aggregate victory against Manchester City in the round of 16 at a huge clash with familiar foe Bayern, or rather to set a huge clash with familiar foes Bayern Munich to enroute Atlanta 10-2 over the two legs. In other matches lined up for tonight in the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals, Arsenal will face off Sporting Lisbon as both teams eye a spot in the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. Arsenal heads to the fixtures unbeaten in all 10 of their European games this season and suffering a defeat once away from home in their last 10 away matches. Alright, that's a wrap from us. Many thanks for the men and women behind the scene, and for you esteemed viewers for keeping us a company in the last 42 minutes or so. My good name is Auma. Joy Mtava has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Until next time, do have a lovely night and God bless.